We're back. It's Video Ditch. Sam and Nick. It's been a few weeks, but here we are. Back and brighter than ever. Well rested, well traveled, and with greater things to look forward to on the horizon.
Yeah, this is version 1.4. We're entering a new era here. The old Video Ditch is like the classic Yik, the very original. It's like people didn't really like it. They didn't get it. The second version was like the update where they removed all the dialogue, so people were like, now I can play through this. And this version, this incarnation in this moment in time is the 1.V. I'm projecting now that the 1.V update will elevate Yik to the 100 out of 100 Metacritic range. It will be up there with Ocarina of Time.
Wow. Bold, but that's the arc that we're looking at. I appreciate that. I introduced us. Today's show, pretty casual. Nick went to PAX East.
It's true.
And he'll be regaling us with tales of such, and I've been spending a lot of time not playing Final Fantasy VII, but instead playing the real JRPG of 2024, Dragon's Dogma 2. And we will get into that and everything wonderful and hilariously stupid surrounding it when we get there. But
yes. The world is shifting. Those living in the shadows, those living in the dark are rising up, turning it on its head.
So, Nick, do you want to just get right into it? Begin with PAX. We could be. Start.
I got a whole sheet.
There we go. Yeah. Beginning, middle, and end of PAX. Let's
it's
go.
Cutesy stationery. Yeah. So I spent a lot of time at PAX. I was mostly with friend of the show and now genuine friend in reality, Kevin. Now that he started up Palette Swap, which is for those who don't know. It is hard drive, but funny, you could say. It's a bunch of former hard drive employees and other comedy writers of distinguished pedigrees coming together to make a writer-owned sort of communist, in a way, comedy and genuine real news gaming site.
Yeah.
So I met up with Kevin, Parker, and Joe, three of the sort of co-owners and starters of Palette Swap, and we were hanging out, hobnobbing, rubbing elbows with the big dogs.
Yeah. I will say with Palette Swap, a lot of their like news thumbnails, like I have to do a double take, like is this real or not?
Like how bizarre they are.
Because but they're worded in a way that just perfectly emulates like an IGN thumbnail or like any mainstream gaming news. So it looks convincing.
Call me crazy. I would even dare to say they're pretty good.
I'd say so.
Not bad. Worth the price of admission if you got $5 to throw around. You got $5 that you mistakenly gave to the hard drive Patreon. Perhaps redirect that to some actually talented people instead of a group of hacks. And money well spent rather than thrown directly into the toilet and stained brown with feces. So
Aptly put. Yes.
Fun stuff in terms of people. Met Mega 64. Mm-hmm. Technically, they were behind a booth.
And PAX East is in Boston?
Boston, yes. Okay. Land of Mark Wahlberg and Ted.
How is that? How was the experience? Were you staying in a hotel, I assume?
I was staying in an Airbnb, probably for the last time.
Oh, I thought you made that mistake last time. I'm pretty sure you
did.
The same sentiment. Like, why do I do this?
It just keeps being like, I was like, it's $20 cheaper staying in an Airbnb. Why not? And Boston has such amazing public transportation. Why would I want to stay across the street in a hotel where all the big dogs convene at the end of the night? It turns out
at the bar, yeah,
and chats and hand out business cards and talk about the future of the nation in terms of gaming. A conversation I could have been a part of if I wasn't too freaking tired. If I didn't have these damned eyelids forcing themselves shut like the Iron Curtain of Gorbachev, leaving me out of the conversation.
But so your lodgings were less than ideal.
Yeah, it was.
Or it was fine.
It's kind of like sleeping on a soft-ish, like a piece of soft soapstone, maybe. I would describe the bed.
Okay.
Not the worst experience of my life, but
okay.
Who knows? Maybe I'll learn.
and the convention's just like at a major convention center.
Yeah, it's at the Boston Convention Center.
Okay.
Huge place,
Nice.
Very cool. very worthwhile.
Yeah. So the process of getting there, and so you met up with Kevin like almost immediately, or like?
Yeah, I think
Kind
he
of
was
just like-
literally the first person I saw when I went down the escalator. He was in
That's
front
so
of the
funny.
Angry Video Game Nerd game booth, which is a giant red booth right when you
Wow.
get in. So we were able to meet up and link up. And we were chatting. We were going down the stalls. I pointed at something. He would point at something. You know, discussing the landscape and the nature of gaming. A real meeting of the minds.
Okay. Were you cosplaying all the days, or was it just a
Fuck no.
couple days? Okay.
No. I cosplayed as Travis once on the day I met Suda51, and
Spoilers.
no other days. I was dressed like a normal human being. Sadly, I was wearing shirts with zero anime references on them. It felt kind of sacrilegious, to be honest, but it's the way it had to be.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good. Understated. You don't want to be too much in those environments.
Yeah, maybe I should have been. Looking back, who knows? Maybe a little Wario would have served to benefit me. But yeah, met up with Suda51, handed him a business card, see where that goes. You know,
Yeah, that's exciting.
seemed promising. I think I made a good impression.
Yeah. And so the experience when you were going through booths, was it a lot of demos, a lot of
Yeah, a lot of demos, a lot of new stuff, a lot of cool stuff. I kind of wish, I don't know if I'm spoiled or something from PAX, formerly Prime, but I do wish there were more independent games. I only counted like
okay. Was
what,
this
50,
more like...
100,
so
something for at least 200.
That's so many.
But you know, it's so you know, just like a regular convention. There's a gigantic mega booth. There's like Nintendo takes up a whole corner, and like major publishing companies will take up gigantic spaces, and then the smaller independent groups or smaller publishing companies will have like one stall or a stall and a half or something.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
And check it out, play the stuff. I actually have a list of cool games to check out.
Good. Excellent.
To enjoy. Once we get to that, the gaming chat. Once we get out of the inside baseball, the behind the scenes. Listen, folks, games don't just spontaneously appear out of thin air, okay? They need people like me to talk to the real talent and say, "Now that looks cool. You should get the word out on that." And then, you know, once that happens, that's what gets the ball rolling. It's people like me.
Yeah. Cornerstones of the industry.
Yeah, the hobnobbers and the elbow rubbers.
We make you grease the wheels. They move.
Exactly. We get our grease in every crevice. We leave no crevice ungreased. That's what we're known for. So what have you been up to?
I've been playing a lot of Dragon's Dogma. In the lead up to it, what was I playing? I feel like I was playing something old. I was playing Elex 2, which is a bizarre.
It's like a
It's Piranha Bytes.
Super Euro crash.
Yes. And
fantasy RPG,
I think I've mentioned this on the show before. Yeah, it's sci-fi meets fantasy meets post-apocalypse elements. And I don't know if you've ever played any Piranha Bytes games. I think I've asked you before, but
no, but I know about them.
Risen, yeah, and now Elex is their third franchise. Everyone praises those games for immersion and progression, and I think Elex 2 is no different. But
yeah.
Notably,
not the gameplay.
The gameplay or the story. It's like never.
I feel like the Piranha Bytes in particular, their gameplay's gotten notoriously worse and like more unpolished, or like more unforgivingly unpolished as time goes on.
Yes. As the industry has evolved and grown up, and the standard just raised generally, like, yeah. And it's odd, because if you go back and play something like Gothic 2, I'm like, this feels kind of better in ways than Elex 2 does.
There's some passion here, some real genuine effort and attempt to do something new. Like the jank isn't just, they expect it by now.
Yeah.
Instead of just be like, well, we just simply don't have the time to get this out.
It's our 30th rehash of Gothic 2, yeah. Yeah, and then I went to the movies. I saw Dune 2.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I liked it. I don't know if you watched Dune Part 1 when it came out. That was
not a sci-fi fan, to be honest with you.
Yes,
so.
I remember we kind of discussed this way back in the day, but it's interesting to think about, like, that came out exclusively in streaming, because that was during the quarantine. Like, movie theaters weren't operating during that film's release, and so now I feel like it's definitely overblown. Like, people were saying Dune 2 like redefined cinema.
I saw that.
That's like, no, it doesn't. It's certainly a good film, and there's very cool aspects to it. But yeah, seeing Kojima's tweets like going to see Dune for the 30th time.
Yes, I think that made people think like, wow, this is something for intellectuals.
Yeah, and there's a weird discussion that's kind of spawned around Dune that I've largely stayed out of, but I've seen kind of from the periphery, based on like media literacy. And Dune is like the conversation. I'm not really sure what people are saying.
like the same people that like want to pat themselves on the backs for being like, yeah, I knew Starship Troopers was anti-fascism because I'm smart.
Yeah, probably because Dune, like, overall is like a story about how false messiahs are bad and like holy wars are bad.
Who would have guessed?
Generally, yeah, yeah, right. But again, I'm not gonna get into it. With Dune 2 though, it was nice to see like a production like that with the level of just like it was minimalist in ways, but there's so much detail, and the atmosphere of Arrakis is just super cool. I thought Timothy Chalamet's hair was like really horrible as the movie went on. It just kept getting like bushier.
He's balding. Yeah, that's a wig. I got insider info. I was talking to the guys in the hotel lobby. They said, "Yeah, Timothy, that is. We actually CGI render a wig on him.
Oh shit!
In real time, it's a hologram.
Oh shit! Yeah, in reality, he's the one that looks like Fade Rotha.
Right. That's actually what Monolith is working on right now. Is rendering Timothy Chalamet's hair in real time. That's why they haven't put out anything.
Yeah, but it was good. I know I'm not gonna go and see it a billion more times, but I don't regret having seen it at all. And it's making me come around on just like the project in general. You know, the first one was kind of like, oh, fun novelty, but now I'm like, okay, I'm very curious to see what they'll do.
Yeah, personally, I saw a real cinema. I saw a real film for real intellectuals, for people who own Criterion Collection cases. Okay, I saw Love Lies Bleeding.
Okay,
perhaps the greatest film of this decade.
That's high praise.
Oh yeah, I loved the violence. I loved it. Everything about it.
You loved
it was so satisfying.
Gay women committing acts of heinous
violence. Do I talk about it that much?
No, it's just this is the second.
Is it a reoccurring thing?
I suppose the third time. The first time you brought up Bottoms is for the first.
Oh
time.
Yeah, well that's a comedy.
Time.
That's different. That's like Three Stooges. Tom and Jerry. Yeah. In a way, the violence in Love Lies Bleeding also. I did laugh out loud violently when important character got their head caved in like a rotten tomato, but no one else did. So.
And you saw that in the theater, yeah?
I did, which is the way to see it. It's great. It looks great. It feels great. It sounds great. The performances are outstanding. I've never been a big, Kristen Stewart fan, but she won me over. I'll admit it.
No, it's fair. I think it's really interesting to see these actors that back in our adolescence we kind of relegated like, oh my god, it's
hack.
Yeah.
Ed Harris, hack.
Yeah. And then, a decade later, 15 years later, it's like, oh, when you're given the opportunity to act in something interesting.
Right, something that doesn't make you want to twist your own head off.
Yeah, exactly. But I bet the money was nice.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I mean, this is why they can do these kind of projects now. They don't care about how they're not going to make anything.
Yeah. Shit.
Half of America's going to see, lesbian revenge, and they'll be like, stop. Lesbian? No, thank you.
Did you see her haircut? Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know this ain't even the kind they show on Stars, fella. You can't trick me.
I've seen trailers for this movie. Is it a period piece? Does it take place in?
It's sort of.
80s,
I mean,
or is it just
if you want to
kind
call
of
it
like?
That.
Is it just retro aesthetic?
No, it does take place in 1989.
Oh, okay.
It's set in the backdrop of a complete worthless nowhere town in New Mexico, kind of close to Las Vegas.
Okay.
on the eve of the 1989 World Bodybuilding Championships.
Okay.
And the convening of two tortured souls, in each with their own horrible problems they either are running from or can't escape, and how their lives get significantly worse very quickly when they decide to take action.
Awesome.
Which is, I guess, the vaguest way I can describe it, while still hopefully
intriguing,
making it sound interesting.
Yeah, no, that does. And if you haven't seen the trailers, I'd check it out, because they're fairly well done. I think the same way where it's vague enough, but there's enough intriguing imagery and shit happening on screen where it's like, oh, what the hell is going on there?
Yeah, it's kind of like a romance movie where it plays kind of normally for the first hour, and then an hour in you realize that the meet cute that they met was Bruce Banner, and something happened to turn them into the Hulk.
Oh, I like that. That kind of reminds me of like watching Drive for the first time. And it's just like, okay, this movie for like the first hour is kind of like kind of slow, you know?
Yeah.
It's doing whatever. And then Oscar Isaac gets shot. It's like, oh.
And then they go in the elevator.
Yeah, it's like, oh. Just, yeah, one thing after another. Sudden escalations I do enjoy.
Yes, if you like Drive, if you like good movies.
Yeah, do you know the director by chance?
Yeah, I do. It's Rose Glass. This is her second film. Her first movie ever was this really horrifying sounding movie called Saint Maud, which I was thinking about checking out. You've seen it?
Yeah, Sophia's a big horror fan, so
yeah, that was her.
Maud. Okay, Saint Maud is pretty nuts.
Yes, I've read the synopsis and I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Fanaticism is a crazy theme to play with.
Yeah, Love Lies Bleeding had really good segments. It was like everything I want in a game, kind of, because it had these great character building moments. It had these really grotesque, fucked up, crazy, violent scenes. Really good use of suspense. Really, you never really had a good feeling of what was happening. The composition, the shots, the use of color. It wasn't like a washed out, boring fucking movie. They really understand how to use color and how to make something look interesting and how to make something look like fitting for that moment. It was really great. And what's the other thing that people like? Oh yeah, the horror, the like horror moments. It was like, you'll see.
Okay,
you'll enjoy it if you check it out.
Yeah, certainly. If I don't catch it in theaters, I will certainly try and catch it on streaming.
You should catch it in theaters. You should take the whole family.
Yeah, you know. Hey, you guys want to see a really fun movie?
Want to see a cool movie? You remember Twilight? This is like Twilight 2 kind of.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have any outstanding praise for Dune to go
I was
into
gonna
me,
say,
perhaps?
yeah. I was like, oh, you had so much to say about that one.
Well, it's been on my mind.
I mean, yeah, I did enjoy Dune. It was the kind of movie that it stuck with me for days after, you know, like coming out of the theater, I was like, I felt underwhelmed, but then it kind of like, it kept sinking in. But I think like a lot of Denis Villeneuve movies, at least the first Dune and then Blade Runner 2049,
like haven't seen either.
There's so much that's just done visually and with like vibe, you know? And I like.
Would you say it's closer to like James Cameron in that way? Like later James Cameron movies?
But what kind of later James
like
Cameron
Avatar?
I don't think so. I don't think so. No.
Like where people walk out of the theater and they're like, I love the way it looked. Couldn't tell you a single character's name.
No. It's better than that. It's not so shallow, and it's not so like trying to be spectacle for spectacle's sake. Right, like it's portraying something grand, but that's just the scope of the story. Javier Bardem was probably my favorite part of the movie. He was playing Stilgar. Have you ever seen Life of Brian?
Guy from Metalocalypse?
I guess. Have you seen Life of Brian?
Monty Python movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that scene where he's like, they're calling him the Messiah. He's like, I'm not the Messiah.
Yeah, is that the same thing happens with Paul?
That's basically Dune 2.
Okay.
All right, and Stilgar's like, only the Messiah would be so humble to not say that he's the Messiah.
Wow, so he's the comic relief.
Yeah. It kind of, yeah, it was a funny turn because his character in the first movie was not humorless, but the role he served was not that. But
Not mirthful. He wasn't a jester.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And he wasn't like reduced to bad comic relief either. And especially compared to like the 1980 David Lynch film, you know, it's really interesting to see this story given proper time to breathe. You know, it kind of like, it's hard to do Messiah stories and Messiah characters, you know, well. I think,
they can't all be M. Dickey.
yeah. Yeah. Truly, it's hard to it can be hard to relate, I think, with those struggles, or the transformation can be unearned or unjustified. With like the Lynch film, it moves at such a pace where it's like, God damn, Paul is just like, I am God now.
Just nonstop nonsense, and then blue eyes.
So it's definitely given the appropriate amount of space here, and I think it's ramped up appropriately. Paul was probably like not the most interesting part of the movie. I think everyone surrounding him kind of was more, you know, the way they're reacting to his ascension into you know, this mythical figure for the people of Arrakis. Austin Butler did a surprisingly good job as
Elvis.
Yeah, so I didn't watch Elvis. Apparently this guy was like on Nickelodeon or Disney back in the day. He was like on one of their live action programs.
Sure, whatever.
But,
yeah, he's in the
like,
Thundermans or something.
Okay. Yeah, right. So I hadn't really seen anything he was in. And when I first saw the initial screenshots of him as Fade, I was like, what the fuck? Because he's like completely bald and eyebrowless.
He looks like fucked up and crazy.
Yeah, he looks he really looks like the nephew of Stellan Skarsgård's Baron Harkonnen and the brother of Dave Bautista's Robin, or whatever his name is. But his performance was super entertaining. I don't think I've seen a villain character quite as entertaining.
Is he the guy that Paul gets into the knife fight in the David Lynch movie? The guy who looks like kind of Sting-like in the original
Sting.
one?
That is
yeah,
Sting.
that is Sting. I was wondering, like, this guy looks a lot like Sting. Sounds like him, too.
Yeah. The Righteous?
Yeah.
That is Sting.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Oh, shit. I will kill him? Yeah. Oh, my god.
How embarrassing.
Yeah, the final duel was much better.
Less funny.
Yeah, it was better done here. And the odd. So I saw it in IMAX. And I normally don't like care about seeing movies like in this sort of format.
I know. I saw that fucking piece of shit in 1914 or Dunkirk or whatever.
1917 or Dunkirk.
So fucking boring in IMAX. It didn't help at all. I was falling asleep.
I think it added to the experience here, but I guess I'd have to see it on a regular screen to really be like, oh, it's not the same. But sound-wise, that was a big highlight. Like, wow, the rumbling of that like sandworm coming
Smell
out.
the spice.
I wish I didn't have the 4D experience now.
Yeah.
I should have gotten the fucking spinal
the
tap. Yeah.
Decapitation machine.
Yeah, when Fade gets stabbed, you get stabbed.
The usher just comes out down the line. It's like, sorry, stabbing everyone.
Shit. Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, Hans Zimmer's score. It's unique. It's atmospheric. You know, it's not like a John Williams, really catchy melodies that you'll be able to earworm and remember. It kind of overall matches very well with like the tone of just the director's style, I feel. You know,
yeah,
just like,
I mean this Hans Zimmer's whole thing is like, what do you want? It's just like,
yeah, what the most I can get out of
what
2
emotion
notes?
are you trying to feel here? How long do you want to hold this one?
Yeah, that's it.
I can hold this one for a full 3 minutes. You want longer than that?
Yeah.
Another million.
Shit. Performance-wise, yeah, most of the actors were good. Rebecca Ferguson, the woman that played his mother, I think she was super good. Just crazy characters. The Bene Gesserit are just like nutso manipulators. But I find it kind of jarring when characters speak and it's not like I want them to put on some weird affectation in their voice, but they sound like someone you'd meet on the street sort of thing.
They sound like an American.
Yeah, like when Zendaya is like getting really passionate about things, and I enjoyed her performance, and the Chani in this movie has so much more like agency and an actual arc compared to like the Chani from the old material. But there's a moment when she's like getting into it, she's like, my people, and I'm like, oh man, you sound like I don't know, like you're like you're from our time, like we're having
like you're a slam poet in high school.
Yeah, it was interesting. But overall, I liked it. Yeah, well enough. It's not like didn't revolutionize cinema for me, but I don't regret seeing it at all. And the trailers coming up to the movie were kind of funny. The newest fucking Godzilla and Kong.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was
absurd as shit.
I went to the theater and I saw tickets for Godzilla X Kong, and I was like, "What is this fucking yaoi slash shit? It's getting out of hand."
Yeah, dude, they start fucking in the trailer.
Yeah, instantly in 4D, you get blasted with Gorilla Glue.
Gorilla Glue. Yeah, very strange. Yeah, there's another the Planet of the Apes movies are still happening for some reason.
Yeah, also surprising.
Right? I feel like they're finally kind of circled back to the
Charlton Heston.
60s. Yeah, exactly.
I think you're right.
Right? The aesthetic of the new movie.
He's going to be like, now you're going to learn how the Statue of Liberty got buried. The backstory we've all been waiting for.
Right? I have no idea if anyone has said, like, you damn dirty ape at all, like, in that franchise.
I assume that they say it in every film.
You'd think, right?
At, like, the minute 90 mark. I assume they make sure to have someone say it so people are like,
right? Because, I can't remember any other dialogue, and I'm wondering if there's like, was there maybe like foreshadowing in the first movie of like a spaceship launching? So that'll be it'll straight up be the same movie when it comes out. Who knows? But very strange that those still exist.
Yes. It's been like 20 years.
Yeah, right?
They're still making them.
With
sporadically, but they're still making them.
Yeah. I feel like at least 15, because I feel like the one with James Franco came out. Oh, maybe it's just 10 years. But still.
I don't know who the audience is.
Yeah,
I don't know who's
who watches these?
Expectantly waiting. You're like, ooh, I hope they announce the next Planet of the Apes.
Oh man, I can't wait to see Caesar. Maybe he'll finally kiss the human in this movie.
What's he gonna do next? That ape's so crazy. He's just like me in a way.
And when they give the apes the human eyes too, I'm a little disturbed.
Well, I mean, those movies are what, like all CG now? Like, there's no human. There's like one-off humans. Like, they just turn the camera around, so you're just in some soundstage, and they go back to the apes in the giant CG ape palace.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm not thrilled about that one. But, if you enjoy it, great. Good for you. Have fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of other movie trailers that kind of have come out, or something I wanted to bring up since we haven't spoken in a while, was The Crow is getting remade, and it's coming out this summer, and it's starring Bill Skarsgård. And the internet has a lot of mixed feelings about it. Mostly a negative impression, I think, is what the internet
Wow,
has.
I would have never guessed.
But, you know what? And are you a fan of the original comic or movie starring Brandon Lee?
I don't really care about it, to be honest. Okay. I mostly had people who were obsessed with Bruce Lee randomly also be like, and also, did you know that his son was the Crow? And I was like, I don't know who his son is. I don't know who Bruce Lee is.
It's the only Brandon Lee film I've ever seen. And I'm personally quite a big fan of The Crow, but I can recognize, right? I'm not going to pretend that it's like some masterpiece of a movie that some
it's
fans
just aesthetically perfect for its time.
Yes, and I rewatched it recently, and at times it honestly just feels like an extended music video. Like that's
like
how
Disturbed or like Slipknot.
No, thankfully no. It's a tastefully goth 90s goth soundtrack. So before it got ruined by like new metal influences in the 2000s. But yeah, I have there's a place in my heart for the original film, certainly, and I feel like I watch it at least once a year. The story behind the comic is so sad. Like, I'm forgetting the author's name right now, which is horrible, but he wrote it, and you do know the story.
He had his name stolen, and that's why you feel so bad about forgetting it.
No, his girlfriend was like killed in a drunk driving accident, right? She was
Oh my God.
killed in a drunk driving accident, and he wrote it as a way to kind of express his grief. And the Crow is a character who loses the love of his life to like some random act of violence, right?
Yeah.
It's just the cruelty of the universe, and then it's him kind of
Right. Kind of ripping off Max Payne is what you're saying. Kind of a Max Payne ripoff, but keep going.
Yeah. And yes, and he is also murdered, and then he's brought back by the supernatural crow that's his kind of spiritual guide. And in the comic, there's like he has an actual kind of like mentor figure. It's like some spirit cowboy, skull cowboy, I think is his name or something.
Like the Ghost Rider.
But he wasn't in the first movie. I think they filmed scenes for him, but then they're like, this doesn't really fit
the theme we're going for here.
Yeah, and so his scenes were not included. And also just the I feel like the first or the original film now, as we'll refer to it as, it has this legacy, you know, that people kind of can't seem to look past with Brandon Lee's death, right?
Yes, on the sets.
Yes. And I did like a Wikipedia kind of like refresher, because like when did it happen? And it sucks. It happened like at the end of production. He was going back to shoot scenes for a flashback, right? And the reason why the gun was like improper was because they had to make, you know, it was a budgetary thing. They didn't have the time to get the proper thing, so the props department like kind of
just gave him live ammunition.
Ad hoc, like, oh well, no, not necessarily, but the model gun they were using wasn't particularly safe. And then that day they were shooting, the firearms expert had been sent home, like by the time that they were shooting the scene, so it fell upon an assistant to prepare the prop, didn't know the correct procedure, and he was like, standing
very
like
thorough
15
bungling.
feet away, and then he got shot, and I think he died on the way to the hospital.
It is so crazy to me, that all these like missteps can happen. It's like, what scene are we shooting again today? The one where I get shot in the head.
Yeah, right in the fucking abdomen. Obviously extremely tragic. The author of the novel went so far as saying that losing Brandon felt like losing his girlfriend for the second time.
Again.
And he regret ever writing the material, which is horrible to laugh about, but is so
Shakespearean.
insanely tragic. Yes. It's like, wow.
This guy's like, Hamlet would look at this guy and be like, damn, this guy is fucked up.
Yeah.
This guy's got some real problems in his life.
And all that being said is the trailer dropped for this movie, and I feel like it gave away a lot of action scenes, perhaps too much. And it's got Bill Skarsgård as Eric Draven and FKA Twigs as Shelley. And my problem already is that like you don't need to name him Eric Draven. Like in the comic book, his name wasn't even Eric Draven. That was just like the thing they did for the Brandon Lee movie. You could have been Eric whatever.
Eric Crow.
Yeah. Frankly, you don't necessarily need to try so hard to evoke the old movie. I don't know if he's a musician in this one. That was like his thing in the 90s movie. He was in a band, which was great. But the trailer had horrible music supervision. Holy shit.
Like it was really dog shit tracks.
Like
really
it
unfitting.
was like butt rock and
what, like DMC style music?
No, because no, DMC style music is joyous. This filled me with nothing but dread and sadness.
No gift of light
of people. Yeah, exactly. Did not fill my dark soul with
dark
light.
soul with light.
Oh yeah, no, it was just that was like a big no for me with the trailer. It was like music supervision super bad.
Right. So what does that say about the final product?
And people are comparing what Bill Skarsgård. I've seen comparisons to Jared Leto's run as the Joker. People are calling him the Croaker, which I think is perhaps deserved, but maybe unfair. You know, give him a chance. I think he's a good actor, right? I liked him in It. I've seen him in some other features. He was in Barbarian, which was
haven't seen it. I've heard it's very good.
Mm-hmm. Whitest Kids You Know guy directed it. Yeah, or wrote it or directed it. And,
both maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and then he was in another one where Villains or something, where he and his girlfriend, they break into a house and
then
it's
the guy
a whole
who lives
thing.
there is crazy.
Yeah, the old people that live there are crazy.
The people that live there are like, now, finally, my dream has come true as a gun owner. Like, I am legally within my rights to torture you to death.
You're
finally
you're not far off at all. So that's really good. With Back to the Crow, it looks like they're incorporating, the Skull Cowboy, or whatever his name is, seemed to show up in the trailer. It was just kind of pandering, like they're using the tagline of the old movie, like "True love never dies." And again, it's not like the first one was some masterpiece of gothic storytelling, but it had a heart and soul. And then this movie where they're just like, it's not hate, but love. I'm like,
yeah, it's very much like, hey guys, remember how much you loved this movie? What if we made a new one? Would you like to buy that? Would you like to buy a ticket for that?
And I'm not sure if you're familiar with the state of this Crow reboot or remake has been like, it's been in the works for a long time, since we were in high school, right? Like Bradley Cooper was originally in works to play the lead, and then it was Jason Momoa, and then it was...
That would have been horrible.
Very strange.
That would be the worst fucking possible scenario.
I'm the Crow. You're not a fan of Momoa? You wouldn't want
I think out of all the
Momoa?
wooden muscle dummies who are like hired because they are very strong looking, and people are threatened by them, he is the worst at actually acting. Wow. I think like Batista's better than him. Arnold,
Bautista's a good
football feet.
Bautista's a good actor, man.
I know. I'm thinking like, just think about the like people whose whole thing is like, okay, be really muscular and grunt, and you're the leading man.
I get you, yeah.
It's like those kind of guys.
Yeah, I think he's better in roles. I like his work, kind of. I mean,
like Aquaman.
I didn't watch Aquaman.
Like Aquaman.
I liked him as
Legend of the Water.
I liked him as fucking Duncan Idaho in Dune Part 1, but he has such a minor role. He's there for maybe like 10 minutes. Like, good job.
Yeah. Good
there.
Collected his check.
But I do kind of agree when he's like the leading guy. He's a man's man, and not my cup of tea. But The Crow now, Bill Skarsgård. I'm gonna go see it. As
Why
someone
not?
who likes the original and can be open to new things and not be so offended by the existence of this. I do wonder if it's just like we're running out of rights, like owning the rights to this IP. We just got to make money off of it now.
I would say so, to be honest with you.
And I mean, that wouldn't surprise me, right? So we'll see. We'll see.
It's kind of a Roger Corman's Fantastic Four situation.
Yeah, right? Yeah. But aside from that, been playing a lot of Dragon's Dogma 2. Do you want to talk about any of the games you saw?
Oh, man,
played at PAX?
I got this giant list, as mentioned before. I mean, going out there from the very beginning, one of the games that stuck out the most to me, I was trying to write these, like, from memory, like, okay, what are the really cool ones? Which ones do I not even have to look at the map or Anything to remember that they were really interesting. There was a Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo. It's got kind of like a Minish Cap, Wario, Game Boy Advance art style. Really cool, big sprites with a smaller area. It's a action game. I played the boss battle for that. It was like everything I want in an introductory boss. You kind of have to let yourself get beat up and let the flow of the game kind of take over to learn it instead of being told directly what to do. I mean, there was also a tutorial, but I didn't play it, so I just felt like the boss being able to do that was a good sign. It was a sign of good design, good gameplay. Cool. It's got like you play as this little antland kid. You got a yo-yo, you attack stuff with it. You do all kinds of crazy shit, like shoot it like a projectile or charge it up, swing it around like Link.
Is it like top down or isometric?
It's top down. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Top down, big, cool sprites. It's got kind of a. Did you play Link Between Worlds?
On
the 3DS Switch? One, like the sequel.
Oh,
to
the one where you
Link to
could
the
go
Past?
onto the wall and kind of.
Yeah,
I remember that one.
So you remember how in that one, instead of going into dungeons to get items, you go to the store and he would loan them to you, like a crazy fee to buy them permanently.
Okay.
So this kind of something like that. The upgrade tree is you can get out power-ups on loan, and while you owe them money, you get a debuff, and that goes away once you pay it off.
Okay, interesting. So it's not like at its full potential until you
pay
it off. Okay.
So like you could get every upgrade at the beginning theoretically, but you would have like 1 HP, and you would move super slow or something, or your attacks would do less damage. All kinds of random offsets to make it not just like the easiest thing in the world. Yeah. To make those consequences to doing it. Just a lot of really cool ideas and really cool art. I really liked it.
That's good.
For the time I got to play it.
I love a good balance of those elements. Yeah. Is it going to be like a roguelike or?
No, it's like it seems to be a straight up like Zelda type top down action adventure puzzle game.
Oh, okay.
But I would say the action is a step ahead of Minish Cap. It's got some more interesting stuff and a lot more difficulty.
Nice.
Which I like personally.
Challenge is good.
Joanna's pick was Johann the Parhelion, which is an Inti Creates Metroidvania. And I was watching her play, and I was like, oh, cool, I wonder what this is. And I looked it up, and apparently it's a Love Live spin-off.
Love Live.
It's a school idol, like, anime
I was like,
spin-off.
idols, right? Yeah, okay.
Yes. Because apparently one of the characters in the series is like a... You know what Shunibyo is?
Wait. What's this called? I think I might know what this is.
Yohani the Parhelion. It's Yohane, maybe?
Yohani.
Yohane.
Oh, Yohane the Parhelion.
Yes.
Oh, you know what? I don't know what this is, but...
That's good. I was a little worried for a second there. But
oh, yeah, I know.
Apparently it's a Love Live spin-off where one of the characters is like got Shunibyo, if you know what that is. It's where... Do you know what that is?
No.
Would you like to know?
Educate me. Yeah.
It's called middle school syndrome in English. It's basically this thing where you are a teenager, you're in your high school years.
Okay.
And you're doing things that you see in like Dragon Ball Z in real life still. It's like being 17 and dyeing your hair golden and saying, I went Super Saiyan because I encountered a mighty foe the other night. Or like wearing your jackets with the top button like a cape and strolling around with tattered pants and spiky hair and things. Talking about dark forces against you, or saying you're a necromancer secretly, or some Dragon Quest bullshit. That kind of thing.
Okay. So the character in this game has that?
So I guess in the main series they have that, and this is just, what if all that was real?
Oh. Wow. How fun. It's like a real Ichiban Kasuga situation.
No, I wouldn't say they're the same at all.
Not at all.
Ichiban's he's legitimately crazy. This is a different world. So the story I have no interest in.
But gameplay-wise?
But the gameplay seemed fine. It seemed like a alright Metroidvania kind of thing. And if she wants to play it, that's great.
Nice.
Saw Rightfully Barry Arms, which is kind of like a Enter the Gungeon type of game. You're a cute little bear. You get some guns. You get to shoot up all kinds of nasty enemies. I was able to actually get a press kit from them, and who can say, maybe we can expect to speak to them more about the game in the future.
Wonderful.
There was an
Very
entire
cool.
giant booth called Games from Poland.
Oh.
And they pulled us in, and they wanted us to play this game called Kamikaze Last Planes, which is half dating sim, half shoot 'em up.
Okay.
So half of the game
what's the split there? Is it like when you're at base, it's like
when you're
do you
at the
wanna
base,
fuck?
because you can choose between two planes. You can either pursue the more Genki girl blue-haired plane, or the Ice Queen blonde plane.
Wait, so you're romancing the planes?
The girls turn into planes, and then you fly them in the shmup sections.
Oh.
And they can get more or less affection based on if you let them get shot at, or you
Yeah.
don't get all the power ups or something.
How Darling in the Franxx, or
Yes,
you know,
very much.
How I think Darling in the Franxx works.
Yeah, she's the ship, whatever. She's his mom. I don't know. It's the Evangelion guys, right? Anyways, yeah, and then the dating sim, it ends on like, duh, I accidentally went in the bathroom and she was naked. And, you know, it's got the towel hanging off the fucking nipples and like barely anything covering anything.
Classic.
So yeah, they have a very good idea of their
This is
audience.
a game from Poland?
This is a game from Poland.
Awesome.
And that was the only game from Games from Poland I played. There were like 12 games there, but
Like, this one looks cool.
I only had time for that one.
Okay. Like it?
Tried out Big Boy Boxing. Didn't get to try that out at PAX West. It's very similar to Punch Out. It has like all the hallmarks of Punch Out, like super exaggerated bosses, wild telegraph swings, dodging star punches, that kind of thing. But it's like super ramped up, like nuts. The animations and the things that they can do to try and hurt you. Really hard game, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. That's cool.
Same area, there's this game Chicken Police, which is a like classic point and click adventure game where it's a noir story, but everyone is like a animal headed freak. Everyone has the head of an animal instead of a human.
What's it called? Chicken
Police. Yeah. That one was all right. It was didn't get too far into the story. I feel like it had the opportunity to get a lot more interesting. A lot more noir.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen images of this.
He's got a chicken's head, you see.
I see that, yeah. Rated
So,
M.
could be worth a look.
Visual novel.
I feel like the demo ends right when the interesting stuff is about to happen.
Okay.
Because they're saying things like,
those
once you learn this, your worldview will be irreparably damaged. You'll be stuck down this path to the bitter end. And then it's like, thanks for playing the demo. Wow. Top Hat Studio had a booth. They're a publisher. They had that game. Do you have TikTok? Do you use that at all?
I don't. I do not have a.
That's
TikTok,
good.
but
It's
I think I consume.
It's
through
brain poison.
YouTube Shorts. I think the same kind of shit.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
But this is a game that's been on TikTok apparently called Athenian Rhapsody, which is seems like a very Undertale, Earthbound, WarioWare inspired game.
Oh.
And they're being published by Top Hat Studios. They had a whole unique build of the game there to check out.
Is it an RPG with micro games within it?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
It's a lot of things. I feel like I didn't get a good idea. If I'm getting it correctly, it seems like every boss battle is a puzzle / micro game, Undertale kind of wackadoo thing. Yeah. Apparently you can spare every enemy Undertale style, so could be cool, could be interesting. It was funny. I actually laughed playing it. A guy was throwing up, and I thought that was funny. Dread XP, they had this new game, Dread Delusion. Which
Dread
is
XP!
Yeah, Dread XP.
Hell yeah. What'd they have?
So you know how, like, what's that one I was playing? Fucking Lunacid is sort of a modern take on looking back at Kingsfield.
Yes, old From Software, right?
Exactly. I feel like Dread Delusion is more like going back and looking on modern classic Morrowind is what it felt like.
I'm intrigued. Okay.
Yes, like super convoluted, bizarre religious system, very obtuse setting, similar kind of look to everything, very grotesque. The world is like oppressive and yet colorful.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Okay. Yeah.
tortured gods will like speak to you.
Whoa. What is this called?
Dread Delusion. I feel like you would really
Dread
like
Delusion.
it, actually.
This sounds awesome.
This is all to say that I could barely get it working, and I got stuck in the tutorial and had to restart, and then quick start in the main game, which spawned me with no weapon, so I was just getting beaten on forever. And apparently when you die, you meet some disgusting chain tortured god.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Who is like, check it out.
Oh, yeah. Cool, kind of PS1
Yeah.
chunky art style.
I was thinking more like Half-Life, kind of, you know?
Let me see. Maybe
More like that time in PC gaming.
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't see the character models. I see. Oh, it's all first person still?
Yeah,
oh.
See what I'm saying? That kind of Morrowind kind of look. That kind of feel.
Yeah, kind of like even like an older Elder Scrolls dungeon crawly sort of UI and such. Yeah. But yeah, okay. Interesting. Anything with like pink sky and crazy visuals like this.
Yeah, fucked up world, floating islands, etc.
Okay.
You know, your kind of thing.
Yeah. Did you ever play Cruelty Squad? I think I've asked you this before.
No, but I feel like I should.
It's similarly obtuse as shit. I think you should. I think you'd find it very interesting, and it has the sort of soundtrack soundtrack. And I use the term loosely.
Just like abrasive noise.
You'd enjoy. I think like, this is something I could get into.
Yeah, metal on metal screeching and screams.
Yeah,
oh, yeah, very much. I am a big 100 Gex fan, so that's right up my alley.
Right on.
What else? Sandland. I got to try out Sandland. They had the tank and everything.
Yeah.
Apparently, you can do multiple hit combos. I watched Joanna play it, and it looked like she was only doing the charged punch. But you drive a tank, you can play as a little demon kid and beat up people.
Mm-hmm. Was it the English dub that they had on?
You could, but I would never play that. I was playing the Japanese.
Okay, you could switch. Nice. Wonderful.
It was interesting. I do hope that there's more to the grounded combat, though. When you're playing as a little demon kid, or they add some more to the tanks. It seems like tanks are something you can find around instead of being one titular Sandland tank.
I saw some kind of preview headlines about Sandland over the weekend, and they were talking about how the tank was a surprisingly major role of the whole game. So that's cool. Vehicle combat has never really been a favorite element of mine in any game.
Well, and this is more like you're gunning down savages in the sand. It's more like you're gunning down random raiders from Star Wars with a minigun.
Tusken Raiders.
Yeah, but they're drawn. It's all like a Toriyama style.
Yeah, Toriyama style.
You know, it's not grotesque. It's just fun.
I'm curious about that one. If it's being published by Bandai Namco, I wonder if it's going to have the same sort of post-launch support that the Dragon Ball games have enjoyed.
I feel like Kakarot every 6 months is like the last DLC for Kakarot's finally here.
You're not wrong.
You're not wrong. Like, oh, did you forget there was this last episode of GT in like a billion years? Like, oh, that's right. We got to make a whole DLC for Goku Jr.
Got to make a whole new season pass for it. Yeah.
You got to make a whole new season pass for Pan's first
it's
tournament.
Pretty crazy that like season pass. I think it's 3, maybe it's 2, but even more than one season pass is insane.
Yes, for Kakarot. But I mean, there's so much to work with. I guess it makes sense.
Yeah. And I feel like, I don't know. I feel like if they just released a version of the game that had all of it, if you just had the story fights and then cut every single filler robot fight out, you'd still have hours of content, you know?
And you would enjoy it a lot more.
And you'd have it so much more fun. Oh. But, you know. Capcom will do it, or not Capcom. Bandai Namco. They'll do what they do. Did we talk about the last trailer for? It's not going off on a tangent, sort of, but the new Budokai Tenkaichi, whatever.
Super Trunks.
Is. Yeah, did we talk about that trailer?
Sparking Zero.
I
don't think so. I know that I think that's Super Trunks. I'd want to try him out. I like how disgusting he looks when he's in that form.
How large he is.
Yeah,
that was a fun like moment in Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, it's like, oh shit, you're too buff and you can't catch him.
It was so dumb. That's never been a problem at any other point.
I know. Cell is just like ass pull logic. Yeah. Yeah, they had producer Hugh's favorite. You know, it's got Broly, the green Broly.
Yeah, the new one.
Yeah, voiced by Johnny Young Bosch in English.
For until the end of time, it seems like. I think that they're just not going to use the yellow one anymore.
Like, finally!
I think he's just gone.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay. And then, so you played Sandland. Anything? I know there's a demo out now too, which is interesting, but I'm probably
It was good. Definitely check it out. It was a lot more fun playing it in the tank from Sandland, probably than playing it at your house. That was the main appeal.
Okay.
And yeah, Shueisha is now.
What?
Oh yeah, when
The
you played
demo
at PAX, they rolled in the tank from the game.
Holy shit.
That was the demo booth. Was the tank?
Oh
so I
my
was
God.
sitting in there.
That's wonderful.
Pretty epic.
Yeah.
Forgot to take almost any pictures, but trust me, it happened.
Okay. Yeah. Before we move on, was there any other like highlights of anything on the floor, like visually or a specific booth that had a setup that was just like just rad as fuck? Because I saw you got pictures at the Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, we cut in there at the very end when there was no line.
Nice. That was humorous to me. I was like, oh.
Yeah, Larian has a whole. I assume that's what the game looks like set up. They got a Mind Flare and the Asteron and the other one.
Yeah.
All the favorites.
All the favorites, yeah, certainly. Well, that's cool. It's cool that was there. I don't think the game needs any more press or any more people.
Yeah,
to play
people
it.
know.
Yeah.
People are aware. The people who want to play it have, and they're still trying to convert more people to play it as well.
It's interesting. In the recent weeks, Larian kind of has, I think, in an interview with IGN or something, they talked about how, there's not going to be any DLC or any content after any expansions.
It's all done
for Baldur's Gate, and then their next project isn't going to be in D&D. The Forgotten Realms, which is great. More power to them. I'd love to see their formula, and I've mentioned this before, but in a different setting would be super cool. Let them make Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. I was
gonna say, yeah. Then I would actually play one of their games.
It would be playable in like 4-player co-op. It would be fucking awesome.
Yeah. Just change the perspective and do it all in what's that engine called again? Steam's proprietary engine.
Fucking Source.
Yeah, Source. Do it in Source 2.
Yeah, Source 2. Yeah. It's good enough for Half-Life Alyx. It's good enough for Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines too. And it would be cyclical. It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah, except people might actually buy it this time.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have so much faith in the Chinese room.
Yeah, what a bizarre choice.
And it's just gonna play. And this is me probably just being a bit overly harsh and cynical, but it looks like it's just gonna play like worse Dishonored.
Yes, but with like really overwrought, obnoxious, fully voiced choices.
Yeah, and then
like Fallout 4 style choices
Fallout
for
4,
Vampire the Masquerade's successor seem like a very unfortunate idea.
Right. And
how do you feel about blood, mister? Like blood, hate blood, indifferent about blood.
Yeah, sarcastic.
Yeah, sarcastically, blood. Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. Yeah, who's that? God.
Jeez, mister, you're crazier than a Malcav.
Yeah, I don't even know if there'll be like proper character customization or clan selection in that game, or if you're just
I have no
play.
hopes for it. I have no aspirations or dreams for it. I've given up.
Oh,
my spirit is broken.
Speaking of which, and to wrap up this sort of tangent of things that didn't expect to be good or don't expect to be good, but Alone in the Dark, the remake has come out, and I've seen reviews or headlines of reviews. I haven't dove in yet, but initial impressions from afar, it seems like people like it.
A lot, yeah.
Right.
I'm seeing a lot of things from people, the YouTubers I respect. Mm-hmm. Ragnar Rocks is saying it's Alone in the Dark, good again.
Yeah, as he makes his kissy face at you.
Yeah.
Fuck. But yeah, that's interesting to me because I had zero faith in that shit.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, Silent Hill 2 remake's gonna come out and be like, hey, guess what?
I mean, I would love to be proven wrong.
Mm-hmm. That's
I'd
a
love
good way of
to
looking at it,
be
yeah.
one of the stunned haters standing in silence at the impossible challenge they rose to. Instead of one of the gawking freaks saying, "I told you so."
I told you so. Yeah.
I'd much rather be shocked and amazed.
I would like that.
Who wouldn't, you know?
But yeah, that was really all I had to say and wanted to bring up about that one. Any last or other games from PAX?
Not really. Shueisha's a game publisher now. You know, the Shonen Jump publishers. They're making this game called Urban Myth Dissolution Center that looked cool.
Okay.
I know Kevin got to interview them on that. And I was thinking about checking that out, but outside of that, nothing else really caught my eye, to be honest.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Oh, it's fine. The rest of the convention, did you catch any panels?
One panel, I saw Mega 64 live, which they expressly say, do not record anything and do not tell anyone about anything you saw at this panel. So just take my word for it when I say it was pretty funny. I laughed out loud multiple times, and I was absolutely sober, so, you know, really impressive.
Well, what would you describe Mega 64 is to someone that doesn't know what that is? Who they are?
Gaming jackass sometimes, and the rest of the time
that's good.
Gaming Mad TV, I guess. You know, a little more edgy than Saturday Night Live.
Okay.
A little more nuanced and thoughtful than your racist Mario parody.
And then your X plays and Adam Sessler's.
They also do the live action Dragon Ball Z saga videos, which are pretty good. They're honestly something I'd love to just straight up rip off. Something I just love to rip off the Yu Hakusho.
This before. Yes. Classic. Okay, well, wonderful. And did you any merch haul? Was there any
buy anything?
Yeah, did you buy anything or
no? The only thing I got
think
of value.
Gained enough of value. Truly, was.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot. I wore my goddamn Travis jacket, the No More Heroes 3 jacket, to meet Suda. He signed it. I can never wear it again, but it's priceless now. I got to get it framed in glass.
Hey, that's a good idea. Do you want to tell the viewers how it was to meet?
It was like a dream. It was like anything more you could have hoped for. I remember seriously. It's like every fantasy someone has of meeting their favorite celebrity, where they're like, "Oh, nice to meet you. Wow, is that Sephiroth at Burger King on your shirt? Cool." Everything that you could have imagined, everything you could have hoped for in the conversation is met, fulfilled, and surpassed. After I spoke to him,
I love that for you.
I was even like kicking myself because I'm like, I'm gonna talk about the silver case in Killer 7, and I was like, "What do you think?" My
patrician takes, yes.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, "Do you have any plans for Killer 7?" And then I saw him thinking. I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so stupid. Capcom owns it." And literally, the first thing he said was like, "Oh well, with Capcom, you know, it's difficult." It was like I was like, "Stupid." I wasted it.
No way.
But yeah,
it's kind of.
He did say if he ever gets a chance to do anything with Killer 7, rather than a remaster, re-release, he'd want to redo the whole game for the 2/3 of scenario he had to cut out in the first version. Yeah. And I would love that. That would make me elated.
That's really a game that I need to sit back down and give it.
It's great.
Yeah, it's
very. I have it. I forgot to bring it, but I have it on GameCube.
Oh, nice.
But you should play the Steam version.
Yeah, and I think I will. When I get around to it.
It's great.
Very cool. Okay, and then any other highlights of Boston or PAX? You know, any lows?
Compared to California, even when the trains don't work, the public transit is 1 billion times better than California. It's not even comparable.
Mm-hmm. I mean, where we're from, you and I, the public transit was never good.
No,
you know, and then even in other parts of like the Bay Area, it's not
that Bart feeling where you feel like every new person walking through the doors just has a knife unsheathed. They're hiding in their jacket, waiting to pull out like the slightest provocation.
Yeah, it is that Bart feeling.
Much nicer. Also checked out the North End, which is kind of like a little Italy. Had a bunch of cannolis, a bunch of cash only cannolis. That's how you know they're good.
Oh shit. Nice. Okay. Yeah. What's the best thing you ate? I love, you know, learning what people are eating when they're out.
Probably the cannoli.
The cannoli was the best thing. Oh shit.
Yeah. At what's it? Mike's Pastry in the North End. Quality place.
Very good. Did you see any Boston landmarks? Did you do any touristy shit while you were there?
Not at all.
Good.
I don't care about that kind of thing, really.
You were a man on a mission, and I respect that.
I really just cared about the convention.
I mean, that's why
everything
you went.
else, going to the North End, every single historical landmark we went to was probably an accident for me.
Awesome.
But hey, it was worth it. Definitely would love to go back. You know, I don't care what anyone says. I like Boston.
I mean, I don't think it's like super maligned. I guess there's like the stereotypical Bostonians that everyone mocks.
Red Sox fans.
Yeah, townies, you know. I'm from Old Mass. Yeah.
No, it was a great place.
Okay. Well, Ben Affleck would be proud.
Yeah, I don't do it for him.
Okay. All right.
I do it for the people. Yeah.
And I noticed, you know, in our Discord earlier, as we're kind of transitioning out of the PAX talk, you finished Infinite Wealth.
I did. There was a gigantic conversation. I hope you didn't read that.
I glossed kind of when I saw you guys were like really getting into the ending. I was like, okay, but without spoiling anything. And if you want to spoil things, I'm not super sensitive to it because
it's not a rubber bullets type of stupid twist or anything. Mm-hmm. It's just that one story has significantly more weight, effort, and meaning behind it than the other.
Okay.
But the final antagonists, yes.
Okay.
But the two protagonists are also fighting the opposite antagonists that they should be, which is very questionable
that's
as to
interesting.
why they did that.
Okay.
And one of them feels infinitely more impactful and interesting and makes more sense.
It's weird when they bungle the final boss, because this is not.
I feel like that's a common thing.
This is not the first thing. This is not the first occurrence of this happening in the series. Yeah.
Like the only one you could say, I feel like the only games that have really exceptional final bosses are 2 and Gaiden.
Yes.
And
Ryuji
Zero.
was great. 0, on the boat. With Shibusawa,
that was good.
Fucking
and what's his name? Lao Ma or something?
Yeah,
Lao Gan Ma.
Yeah. Oh shit. But yeah, because in 3 it's like what Mine on the roof.
Mine.
Yeah.
Who, yes, if he was more developed
yeah.
at all, he could have been great. But he was just kind of there, and he was crazy.
It was more fun fighting the fucking blonde guy, fighting Wesker.
Anderson,
yeah.
Whatever his name is. You know, any similarities between him and the bartender?
And the bartender, yeah, totally. I was like, is this him?
I'm pretty sure that they're going to make a Kiwami 3, because why else?
Mm-hmm.
Make a whole new HD model in the Dragon Engine for the random American antagonist from 3.
Yeah. It's so funny. Kiwami 3 would be interesting.
It'd be good. I think that would be the only way to get all the people who claim to hate Yakuza 3 to actually play Yakuza 3.
It's not even that bad.
Well, that's the thing, though. There's got to be one that people are like, oh, well, this is the worst one. And I feel like the least people have played 3, so they can just be like, oh, 3 is the worst. It's the stupidest. And no one can check that or defend it because they haven't played it. So they're like, yeah, sure, 3's the worst. No. Like how people hate Dead Souls so much.
And yeah, you've gone on record saying that the masses don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, you know, they're all wild and crazy, and they all got their weird story flaws. But you know, as a whole, it's always a great piece. It's always a great thing. I think every game in the series.
Yeah, I recently I don't know if you watch any of his stuff. It's like I don't even know how you pronounce his channel name. It's CVIT. He has like a guts icon is his profile thing, but he's a big fan of the Yakuza franchise, Like a Dragon, and he released a video reviewing Gaiden, and he hated it. I was like, whoa, really? This is so shocking to hear of someone really vehemently disliking.
I feel like compared to Kiwami 2, it was a massive step up.
I don't know. I feel like he was upset. I think it's weird when people get upset about certain things in these games because it's like, well, you can't really take anything that's happening here super seriously.
Was he upset about like the
He's
Spider-Man?
like, why does
bullshit?
Kiryu fucking walking around like in Kamurocho where someone would recognize him? Like, you know.
That's what he's mad about.
He's like super pissed about the
so
intro.
dumb.
I didn't finish the video. In fairness, so maybe he has more valid critiques, but it gave me pause in the beginning, and I just kind of
kind of like angry PNG reviewer, arms crossed, like, rant Sona kind of thing.
Yeah, it seems a funny thing to be caught up on, because like I don't think any of these games have had like particularly well told stories. Like there are moments certainly like in each game. But as a whole, it's never like, wow, that narrative was really super strong.
There's always a low point. There's always very high points. There's always lulls. That's why you fill it with the side content. That's why sometimes you just forget what's even happening in the story.
Honestly, yeah. Judgment hits that really hard.
Yeah.
Hits that
the first one at least.
Yeah. Yeah. Fucking hell. But cool. You still, so now that you've finished it, where would you rank this amongst?
In terms of gameplay, it's definitely still better than 7.
Okay.
Story's better than 7. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay.
8. The ending doesn't ruin it. It's not like the worst game ever or anything. And it still has moments that are very good that I like. It's just like, why would you do this when it would have been so easy to
have them fight
another way?
Yeah. They do make their interesting choices.
Yes, I mostly just wish that the Ichiban side, his story was a lot stronger than it is.
Really?
Yeah, that's the main thing.
Okay, interesting.
Because there's a lot of interesting things they could have done with Hawaii that are just completely neglected.
Really?
Like things that should be very obvious. Like how far do you get to chapter 8 at least? Right?
Yeah. I'm on chapter 9. I think I might be on chapter 8 still.
Yeah. Well, without giving away anything you don't know, like the whole underground shopping mall that they fully like modeled with like, oh, this is where the society's elite goes to buy
reality. Yeah, that was fucking crazy.
The world's best bootlegs. You see it and you're thinking like, oh, this is like the underworld. This is where like the arena will be. Yeah. This will be the dark market.
So it doesn't
never comes back again.
Huh? Oh,
never comes back again. Completely thrown away.
I mean, they do a lot in that game, though. Like the fucking.
I know. I'm just saying.
The Animal Crossing fucking.
When it comes to building the environment and like adding to the story, I feel like that would have been like a really easy thing to do and
to utilize. A cool thing to do. Yeah.
To utilize.
Fair enough.
And it's not.
Yeah. Well, do you think? So this is a franchise that they reuse cities. Do you think they'll reuse Honolulu?
I hope so.
Or do you think that this is like a one and done? Like, do you think Yagabi's going to America?
I think that honestly, my hopes and dreams are for the next game to be a new Gaiden game, and I hope that the Gaidens are like spin-offs of non-Ichiban adventures at this point. And my ultimate fantasy is an Akiyama Gaiden, because
I love it. I love this.
He's the only one that Kiryu actually meets up with.
Like afterwards, I mean, Saijima's present, out of like all the secondary protagonists in future games.
Well, he's not doing great.
Oh, in the continuity as of now.
None of them are at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, I could believe that.
Except for Akiyama.
Oh, because he's unaffiliated. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That's why he doesn't take his shirt off. He's naked on his back.
Yeah.
But like they make all these. They make all these mentions of what's it called? He's like, oh, he's in Thailand chasing some girl. And it's like, oh, I've got reports of him traveling the world. So I feel like he would make the most sense for a Gaiden protagonist because he could have a new setting, or he could use Sotenbori as like the main spot, and then there's like a smaller area off to the side. I'm fine with that, like the ship, sure.
Yeah.
He would have all these new tracks. You could even bring the Akane network back. It would be perfect.
Akiyama and Akane team up. I would love if all the secondary protagonists that didn't get the time of day after their respected games came back in like a new adventure, kind of, and give
Yes.
them their flowers in the way that Gaiden gave Kiryu a better ending than Yakuza 6 did, you know?
Yeah. Or, yeah, I don't want Majima's story to end with the Majima saga.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Like, yeah, have Akiyama, have Tanimura, have Shinada from
Well,
5.
let's not get crazy.
Yeah, let's get crazy.
Let's have Taiga first, at least. My God.
Okay.
Haruto Gaiden.
No. They're just fucking shaking the baby. Oh, yeah. That'd be cool, though. If they... Would you rather a Kiwami 3 or a Akiyama Gaiden?
Akiyama Gaiden. It's not even debatable. I could play 3 whenever I want. It exists. I don't
But
need there to be a remake.
You get the
to
Dragon
play
Engine
it.
Hawaiian shirt.
I don't care about that. I like the way 3 looks. I like the way 4 looks. I like everything looks up to 0, actually. I have no problems with the pores. I like the pores. I'll dive in them.
The pores are great. The pores are iconic. I will die on that hill with you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone that walks in when you're playing Yakuza 0 and just sees you,
I know,
they're
they're instantly disgusted.
Whoa, what's in that guy's face?
This guy's he exfoliated way too much. Oh my God.
All right, all his pores are completely open.
Oh.
Oh.
But yeah,
Wonderful. Well,
I think it still looks good.
and okay, well, I think that about answers what I had for any questions I had regarding Infinite Wealth. Not spoiling anything.
Yeah, trying my damnedest here.
Yeah, I'll get back to you, or I figure I have a statute of limitations on.
We can move on to this now. You
spoilers.
dropped 7 Rebirth. You can finally get back to the real JRPG.
There you go. Yeah, the other real JRPG. Speaking of, the game I wanted to talk about this episode, since we've been going on for a while, is Dragon's Dogma 2.
Oh yeah, everyone hates it.
So dumb.
All Dragon's Dogma players are saying, haven't tried it yet, but I hate it.
And I hate it. Yeah, for those that don't know, there's a very strange controversy, I suppose you could call it. I don't really consider it to be anything of note or real about the launch of Dragon's Dogma 2. Now, saying this, people have been having not a great time on PC due to performance issues, and that is a completely valid reason to kind of be upset about. But what I find bizarre and kind of dumb is people getting upset about the inclusion of these microtransactions in the game that, one, aren't necessary to unlock any content. Maybe the bonus, like, you can get sound effects from Dragon's Dogma 1 and like tracks from the first game, I think. There's like a pre-order bonus. But aside from that, every like item in there, or the rift crystals, that's all stuff that can be earned within the game through gameplay.
Yeah, find it or buy it. There's a very strange like misinformation being spread around at the beginning of launch, where people are like, you have to pay to change your appearance. I can't believe you have to pay in real world money to get from town to town.
Yeah, which is nuts to me. And I think it's just, it speaks of classic, the modern gamer's classic, just like illiteracy.
Yes.
And also, like, you clearly have not played a game that Capcom has made since like 2017, because these sorts of microtransactions are just present in their games, and they're not predatory, right? These are like this is the one company that does not fuck it up with microtransactions, and people are getting mad about it.
Yeah, it's literally pay us $50 and we'll give you 50 health potions.
Yeah, it's it's nowhere near that aggressive or horrible, but yeah, just like, this was in Monster Hunter, this was in Resident Evil 2 and 3 and 4 Remake and Devil May Cry 5.
Yeah, buy more arms for Nero if you fucking suck at the game.
Right, yeah. Buy red crystals if you have no time to play the game, I guess, and you just want to...
If you hate actually playing the game, you just want to fuck around in training mode.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, aside from that, though, right? Wonderful, wonderful game. Holy shit. I am so pleased. Playing. So I was playing through, Final Fantasy VII remake, and I was beginning to have gripes with
Right.
its open world, and the design
Feeling
was
disillusioned.
giving me pause, and the writing and the delivery of everything was just not really landing for me, and that might just be me. Like, I'll recognize that, you know, I might just not be in a place right now. I might be oversaturated with just this vibe, and I if I return to it at another time, I might feel differently. But certainly now, like, I'll put it on the back
Wait till
burner
you get to Vincent.
and not feel bad. Matt Mercer, not feel bad about it.
Oh, God, yeah.
And so, so I started playing Dragon's Dogma 2. And I got it, launch day, played it like for an hour, and then spent the weekend kind of playing a lot of it. And with Final Fantasy VII, you know, I could feel the hours going by where I'm like, oh man, I've kind of spent a long time playing this. But, you know, playing Dragon's Dogma 2, I lose hours. You know, it's just like, fuck.
Yes,
how
you
is it?
black out.
Yeah.
And it's like 3 a.m.
You know, and I it's always so special when you find a game that like really hits you like that. And
that's a sign of a real one. A sign of a real classic.
and Dragon's
I felt that's yick.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy to me that you love Yick so much.
I think I've given myself Stockholm syndrome about yick.
Maybe. I mean, I'll try. Like, it's so much so that I'm like, oh, maybe I should fucking try this game out and see what the hype's
Limited
about.
time.
But Dragon's Dogma 2. It's interesting because I feel like Capcom recognizes that the first one flew under the radar for a lot of people. Right? It came out in the same year that Dark Souls did, and that was kind of the big, you know, Japanese interpretation of Western fantasy RPG that the people latched onto, and it shaped the industry for like a fucking decade. But now Dragon's Dogma 2 is out, but it's almost like they're afraid to put the 2. Like, they don't want people to think it's like a sequel. So like when you load up the game, it's just Dragon's Dogma.
Right.
And unfortunately, they don't have a hilarious menu track like the original launch. There's no Into Free Dangan, which is a damn shame. Because that really, I feel like that so captures the soul of the game.
Yes, completely unfitting J-Rock.
Mm-hmm, yes, it's so fucking hype. But this one, oh goodness, like where do I even begin? Right, it was sort of like a dream game already, right? Dragon's Dogma on the RE engine would be so insane, and here it is.
It's real.
And it's real, and it's very good. Presentation wise, and I'm playing on PS5, so I guess I'm lucky there. I am lucky there. And it runs well. It certainly, I don't think it targets like 60 or anything like that.
Oh, really? It's like 40?
Yeah.
I think that's a new, like,
the acceptable standard,
Yeah.
There are performance drops when it gets kind of flashy. Like, the spell effects in this game are nutso. But somehow less flashy and noisy than Final Fantasy VII. Like, I was playing through that combat, it's like, this is just a little too much.
It's like abrasive to you. All
like,
the sigils.
It's kind of like Kingdom Hearts. You know? I don't
like that.
I don't like the hit sparks in Kingdom Hearts, but some people do. And more power to you. But this one, slowdown isn't really too bad. The audio design is interesting. The music, when you're exploring, is very ambient, right? More so than the original. Like, it's almost absent at times, and you just kind of are in the wilderness.
Wild sounds.
And it's
Birds
nice.
tittering.
Yeah. And then when the track does come in, it's very understated. But when you battle, you know, the classic kind of battle theme is present. And when you win, it plays the same chord, sort of victory sting. With the story in this one, your character kind of is less of a blank slate than the first game. Like, you're still the Arisen, obviously, but your character seems to have had like a role in society, like a leadership role in society before the events of becoming.
Not some random fisherman.
Yeah, you're not just a fisherman that possesses great willpower, which, you know, both approaches have their merit. Some people like being a nobody, and some people will appreciate having like more of an established lore to kind of guide their character through the world. It takes itself very seriously.
Good.
But there's
Not
some
joking.
some funny nods. No, I mean I think it's great too that it's not being like goofy, because that would
I would
be
vomit.
horrible. Yeah, that would not be what you want. I laugh though because in the beginning, after you make your character, you run into Rook, like the starting pawn from the first game. I was like,
Yeah,
oh my
the guy
god.
who like introduces you to the whole thing.
Yeah, I was like, I fucking hate this guy. And then, minutes later, you do your plot thing with him, and then he's like in a cutscene. He's being swallowed by the brine. The water monster tentacle thing. He's like, I'll be fine, Arisen. Like, they can take my body, but my spirit will prevail. And I found that so humorous. It was almost like the devs knew, like, oh, we throw this guy into the ocean every time I fucking see him. And then they just drop him in there for me through the story. And that was great.
Gratifying to see him drown.
Yeah, it's just funny. As a fan of the series. And it felt tongue-in-cheek. Maybe it wasn't, but I liked it.
You felt personally appealed to.
Yeah, I was like, hey, there it is.
Like, yeah, it'd be like if in The Sims 4 they added a pack where they just automatically delete the ladder in the pool for you.
Yeah, a sim does it. Just like removes the ladder.
Yeah, they just take the ladder out and point and laugh at them drowning.
Yeah, and so the story doesn't take long to kind of get you out into the world and then, exploring, which is great. Doesn't waste a lot of time with a lengthy intro or an exposition dump. Character creation is still super strong, part of these games, right? The character creation suite's super impressive. My younger brother,
yeah,
he sent me. Maybe I could bring it up right here. But he sent me like this image. He's like, I haven't even touched the main game. I just can't stop making ugly characters.
What's he got?
And it was fantastic. Yeah. Let me see. See this fucking.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like. Just you're wasting so much time at the character creator.
Yeah, it's funny.
But it is funny. It's super funny. And yeah, so going into the gameplay of it, you played the first one. So you'll
no more Strider.
Yeah, they've split it into two classes, which I'm actually quite fond of. I've played so far mostly as Thief, so the dagger class. I played a little bit as Archer. I started as Fighter, but I was like, I want something snappier. And then I've had my pawn. He leveled up through Fighter all the way to 10, and now he's doing Thief as well. But the combat is a little different from the first one, where every class has like a utility skill that's unique to them. That's mapped. So like healing for mages is no longer a spell you have to select. It's just an inherent ability you have.
Anodyne.
Yeah. Right. Thieves can do like a quick dash. Warrior fighters, they have their shield, and then the class action for archers is like aiming, actually aiming.
Wow.
But that's how you use their abilities. It was interesting because I was wondering how the bows would work, right? Because you don't have a primary melee anymore when you're using it.
Right.
So if you just tap the attack button, they'll just automatically kind of aim, and you can navigate the battlefield that way.
Auto aim.
Yeah, and then you have the precision aim as your ability. It was fine. There's a greater sense of weight in the combat. I think it might just be like a consequence of the engine, and I think it's deliberate as well. But
you don't get thrown around like a ragdoll anymore.
Yeah, you don't feel so floaty, which is nice. Your character really does feel quite heavy when they're like falling through the air now, as well. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you really feel the impact when they splat.
Yeah, you do. You certainly do. And when you're a fucking thief and you do that spinning like off a cliff and you just land, oh, brutal stuff. Yes, quite good. The open world design, I'm already such a big fan of. I think it's open world design done right. It's reminiscent of Elden Ring, of like Breath of the Wild.
Yes,
You
the
know.
kind of open world where you don't want to fast travel.
Yeah, and speaking of fast travel, it does return in the form of fairy stones and wake stones. And then now there's a mounted carriage service you could hire, but amazingly, and I love it, it's not fast travel. In fact, it's slower than you could go
Like you sit on
at
the
your
carriage
pace. You
in real
sit
time.
on the cart in real time. Right.
So it's just to mock you
Kind of. I mean,
for not wanting to play the game.
you don't have to fight, but your carriage could get attacked while you're, in transit. Very fun. Another cool feature. I'm just gonna start kind of rapid fire here. You could kill every NPC in the game,
Nice.
and there's a location in the game world that their body will go to, and you can revive them if you have wake stones. But people have just been like, I've seen compilations of people just like
People just killing everyone.
just populations, yeah, and then they're all there in the fucking crypt. Very cool. Very very funny. I love that. That's just like it's unrestricted freedom that games don't have a lot of that these
yes,
days, right?
Taking a page out of Postal's book.
Yeah. Honestly. And yeah, and it's just hilarious that that's like even an option. With the pawns are great. They're smarter, I think, in this one.
They don't say stupid shit anymore.
They no.
They just call you gay.
It seems the Arisen prefers to travel with men exclusively. They're super British. All the voice actors are like properly British. It's not just British. It's not just Troy Baker and Laura Bailey putting on accents now.
I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problems with this. This is the one time it's acceptable.
But you can switch through the to the Japanese dub as well, which is nice because they didn't have that option in Dark Arisen, but they had it in the original release of Dragon's Dogma.
I think Dragon's Dogma is a game that benefits from having clunky English dialogue.
Oh
It's
yeah,
the first one. I don't know.
Yeah.
Two,
I think,
maybe it looks too good.
No, I think it everything fits really well. I honestly cannot wait to keep playing it.
Can't wait to get off.
Can't wait to get off this fucking program.
Up on Dragon's Dogma.
No. It's excellent. It's a shame that you can't do crossplay pawns or cross-platform. So I know you'll probably be playing on Steam Deck or PC.
Yeah. If it runs, apparently.
Yeah. Apparently it's rough, and I understand that because it's a very large game world. And I'm not sure how this engine scales with that sort of thing.
It just doesn't. Everything loads it instantly.
Yeah. But it's I know we mentioned in a previous episode that the director was saying I'm making, just progressing through the world fun. So fast travel's not
new idea,
a necessary thing, and it's so apt. It is it's such a joy to just walk through this world and to get into fights because the combat feels that good. There's so much dynamic action that can happen in the combat. And with the way everything looks, the level of polish, and the first game is I've learned over the years that so much of the first game was cut, right, due to time and budget. So it feels like this game they really had that to throw at it, and it shows, and it just feels great. I would recommend this over Final Fantasy VII.
I was thinking, it seemed like you have a certain
I
preference.
like this so much more.
I mean, they are both action RPGs,
Mm-hmm.
right?
They are. But no, there's such a tactile feeling to the combat here. I think being able to grab and latch onto enemies.
Yeah,
is
stab the
huge.
shit out of them.
Yeah, you could really go to town as a thief. I've had a lot of fun exploring this vocation. Yeah, and the creature design in this one is improved. Everything looks more evil. Everything's eyes, they have that kind of cat glow.
Yeah,
So,
the yellow.
Yeah, so when you're exploring at night, you see this horrifying glint. Just what the fuck was that? And yeah, atmosphere of the world is very it's like lush, but it's not overdone, right? You know how some games can kind of get lost in the sauce and make it look really fantastical. I think of like Ubisoft kind of comes to mind with these landscapes where it's like this is almost like too beautiful. There's a really nice quality to the world design, and something I appreciate in this one is the structure is like instead of just being able to rest at inns, there are actual campsites that you can set up and
party chat,
yeah. And it's weird. I didn't know this was a thing, but you can cook a meal when you're at camp, and when you
I saw the real life steak. You can
I had no idea that was a thing. It's the first time I played the game, I laughed out loud
at the RTX steak.
Yeah, I was like, that's not. Oh, that is real.
I was like, what's up with the sizzler?
Yeah. Super strange. But a quirk that I enjoy. And yeah, really, all I really wanted to say is like, this is all I really wanted to say. So much, but good open world design. I think this is how you do it. This is how you make it engaging. It doesn't feel like fluff, and I appreciate that quests have timers, right? Like, if you put off doing side quests, you can fuck them up, right? And that was a feature in the first game. That I also enjoyed, so I'm glad that they didn't really compromise with that sort of stuff. There's a lot of quality of life improvements in this one. There's a proper NPC index that'll tell you their location. It has their portrait and their likes.
Thank God.
Yeah, so it's like, don't remember who I gave that thing to. Yeah, so
where's Fornival?
Yeah, where the fuck is Fornival? His trial's happening in 2 days. Oh, he's dead. So yeah, it's great. Grigori, the Great Red Dragon, returns. For those that don't know, one of the influences of the original game was Berserk.
Oh yeah.
And Sophia is a big fan of Berserk, and she says she like really sees the influence in the world design still, which is very rad. She thinks that Grigori's kind of like Zod. He kind of has like they share similar attitude. Yeah, huh? Just the way they kind of view humans and ones that possess will, specifically. Yeah, and let's see. What else? Yeah, do you have any questions?
Do wolves travel in packs?
They
still?
do. They certainly do.
An issue.
Yeah, wolves and goblins, pretty common. And thankfully, the world feels super alive, and so you can still run into like massive creatures, just like randomly.
Ogres.
Yeah, ogres are still super horny for women.
They smell a woman and they instantly go feral.
Yeah, the pawns are like, we could use them as bait. Like even the women, they're like, it's fine. So weird. And yeah, this one is a little more fantastical with the inclusion of beast races, or the beast friend, as they call them. Yeah, the cat people, and then there are elves, technically. And it's fun because the elves speak a different language, and if you don't have anyone in your party that understands, you can still interact with them, but the text is just gobbledygooks.
Random nonsense.
But if you remember the placement of like services, like, oh, the top option is talk or rest, whatever. Like, I know that in the inn, so I could technically rest there. So it's fun in that way. It's like, oh, it kind of emulates the experience of knowing just enough of a language to get by.
In reality, where's the bathroom?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, just more to like. Combat feels really good. Traversal feels good. I haven't run in. I've just been exploring, honestly. Like there's main story stuff.
Acknowledging the main story.
And I've done a little bit, but I feel like I'm at a point where it's not super time sensitive, so I'm trying to take advantage of that. And just
like the anti-Yakuza.
Yeah. With vocations too, it's interesting. I don't remember if in the original you just had to wait till you got to the capital to unlock like the secondary levels, like warrior, sorcerer, and ranger, and all the other hybrid
Yeah,
vocations.
I think as soon as you got there, you had the option.
Yeah, and this
to
one
just
they've
promote.
made it it's tied to quest progression now. So it's like you actually have to find the equipment. You have to find a great sword before you could like train with it and find an archer staff. So I thought that was very interesting. I think the story is presented more coherently in this one. Right. Instead of really disjointed, just like
gibbets of
go
text.
here,
Yes.
arisen.
Deliver
yeah.
the Hydra's head.
Yeah, there's I feel like there's already stronger characterization with some of the characters I've met, and there's certainly like more political intrigue than was ever really present in the first game.
Yeah, I feel like there wasn't really any until they were like, the Arisen killed the king.
The Arisen fucked the king's wife and put him in jail. Yeah. So yeah, really looking forward to it. Highly recommend. I see myself really sticking with this one, and I'm excited too.
And it's always great to have your dreams turn out to be true and not miserable, horrible.
And it
ways.
was so shocking, like when I saw all
The
this,
response?
Yeah, when people were like, "Fuck this game," and
Yeah.
just like you don't
Fuck
fucking,
Capcom.
you don't deserve this shit. Get out of here. Yeah.
It's really funny, especially coming like pretty hot off the heels of RE4 too, which everyone was like, "I love this game.
Yeah.
I'm in love with Ashley. I never want to stop playing." When it had like, didn't it also have like buy ammo, buy
It did.
gunpowder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Buy,
could
like,
buy the
1,000
treasure
costumes.
maps. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I saw zero outcry of people being
No.
like, "This is predatory. I am being preyed upon."
You're absolutely right. No one fussed about it, so it was very bizarre to just. It's bizarre when like the flavor of the week is something you love, and then like people are fake outraged about it.
Yes.
You know, it's like, oh, very very strange.
Like, I didn't even see people be like, "Oh, they changed this from the original game. This is completely unplayable."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, if you're listening to this and you are curious if any of that had any merit, don't listen to the masses and go out there.
They don't know what they're talking
and
about.
play a good ass game.
They haven't played Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah,
They haven't
honestly,
played Dark Arisen.
that too.
They haven't played Yakuza 3. All the things they claim to be experts on,
Like,
they've never even touched.
It shouldn't make me upset, but it does irk me, you know. When everyone was suddenly a fan of Dragon's Dogma.
Yes,
It's like if
everyone
you
suddenly
get fucked up by the Hilltop
loved
Bandits,
it.
suck my dick, you know. Get out of here, you know.
If you actually went and saved your childhood friend from the Witchwood, no, you didn't.
Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. But again, great game. Go out and play it. And then anything else you want to cover today as we kind of
I think that we got it all. Do we have questions?
we do
I
have
think
a
like,
few, you
2
know.
or 3.
And I know that you have. I think by the time this airs, the contest will be over. But
Yes,
yeah.
that is right. The icon contest. The
We'll have a brand new
version
icon,
1.5 server icon contest.
Yeah.
Our server. Don't forget.
yeah. So if you're listening, you can enjoy that in the Discord now.
That's right.
Yeah.
The winner of the contest will be the director of a RPG Maker title, which I will create based on their specifications. So here's hoping the winner is not a freak or weirdo, because I don't want to deal with that.
All right. So let's see. Coming in first from our pal Kim Jong Skill.
Oh, great.
Is the cream inside the donut actually made in Boston? And I got to assume this is in reference to, Boston cream donuts.
That's right. They had them there, and yeah, they
Or is
are.
it a Boston
They made-
cream pie? Is that what it's
Well,
called?
they had the donut, they had the pie, they had a cookie, and they had a cake.
Oh, so it's
They're all
Boston
Boston
cream is just the flavor.
Yes,
Okay.
is the flavor, and they do make it there. It's made by a group of 5 Italian transplants. They were like straight from Italy.
The lore
They-
drop. I didn't expect
They
this.
were
Okay.
amazing patissiers.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first time I tried Boston cream anything.
Yeah,
Pretty good,
What's
but
the
if-
defining feature here?
painful on your teeth instantly. It's so sweet.
It just
It's
dissolves.
like very diabetes inducing.
Okay.
So, glad I tried it, but I don't think I'll ever get it again. Probably will get a pistachio cannoli or something.
Yeah, that sounds.
Those were good.
More subtle and pleasant, but okay.
But the cream is from Boston. It's real.
Cream is from Boston. Wow. Well, there you go. And from producer Goon himself, did you eat
good.
at Wahlburger? Did you see Mark Wahlberg?
No and no. They
What
have
are your thoughts on the old Wahlberg?
They had one location that I saw, actually. It was just in the airport when you get out. They have a Wahlburgers. And I don't see any reason to ever go there.
I would never.
Honestly. I don't feel like Mark Wahlberg endorsing fast food will suddenly make it taste better than like a Big Mac. I think that's gonna make me think less of it, actually. So, I have no interest in Wahlburgers.
Yeah, to answer both questions, yeah. No interest in Wahlburgers or the family behind them. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. You don't have a favorite Bostonian actor,
Not really. Matt Damon.
Matt
maybe?
Damon.
From Boston.
He's the other one, yeah.
Him.
All right, and I think that might have been it. Goon asked if he snuck into GDC as his final,
Which is in San Francisco, I believe. So
game developers.
no, I did not.
Yeah.
But next year, why the hell not?
Why the hell not?
Why not?
Yeah, clearly going to conventions is a massive
way to
boon for our program, and I love that you're out there doing it.
It was shocking to see just how the whole future of gaming is shaped in a hotel lobbies bar nightly. All the greatest minds, all the stars assembling, trading cards, trading secrets. I was right there.
You were there on the ground floor.
I was there.
I love it.
My elbows rubbed raw.
Yeah, he's like a video game Hunter S. Thompson.
I'm a real socialite.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah, next time we'll go to PAX on acid, and then we'll write.
Oh, that'd be
good.
good.
We'll write a whole. Yeah, that'd be a good article for the old fellas at Palette Swap.
Yeah, who's the? Let's see. Hell's Angels equivalent can kick us in the head until our brain comes out.
Shit. There you go. And well, I think that's really it for today's episode.
Yeah, I think so.
We've been Video Ditch. I know. Thanks for sticking around. If you're here, thank you for sticking around.
And one last thing.
Yeah.
Don't forget about our sponsor.
Oh, still going.
Still going. Don't forget to go on this site and use coupon code Consume Product
there you go.
for $5 off any cookbook, PDF or physical.
Yes. And if you make one of those dishes, send us an image in the Discord because we'd love to see it.
Send us proof. Send us the checkout screen. Don't censor anything.
Yeah. And if you want to find us,
one last thing I forgot almost. We received a while ago these promotional items for the Dreamer Must Die from a friend of the show, Hunter Alquist of Alquist Interactive.
Very
These are two
cool.
little keychains. One's for Sam, but I have them both. Of the COG NPC. Right here, you can see. See that?
Well
He's
made.
real. He's from the game.
Is it glossy? Is it enamel? Or what's going on here?
It's 3D printed.
Oh, right on.
And sanded down.
Okay. Nice. Wow.
It's a nice little...
Thank you, Hunter.
Beautiful postcard.
Yeah.
I'll show you the back, but it's a personal message to us.
Yeah, intimate
Wouldn't
stuff.
you like to know?
Yeah.
Another little something to think about later in the game.
Very cool.
I assume. And a secret press card which you are not allowed to see. Only for the press.
That's right. Which is us.
That's us. For those who are unaware.
Yeah. Check out Dreamer Must Die while you're at it,
Check it out. Download it. Speedrun it.
Yeah. And while you're
tell Vinny Vinesauce every day, bother the shit out of him. Tell him to try it.
And while you're checking that out, you can check us out on Twitter/X. I'm at the Super Sammycom. Nick is at Somebody Stop Me. All one word with 2 eyes. Nintendo style. And you can find us at Video Ditch Pod. Give us a follow there. See us reposting funny things we find on the ether.
That happens sometimes.
Occasionally.
It's happened once.
Yeah. Jump in the Discord. We even have a voice line and a Gmail if you really want to,
I totally
get
do have those
esoteric with
things.
this shit. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, leave a voicemail. We'll play it live, so don't say anything too nasty or untoward, or else there's gonna be hell to pay.
Exactly. Yes, and until then, thank you for listening. We have a video ditch. See you next time.
See you then.